Have you ever considered that traveling in later life might sometimes do more harm than good? As we age, the thought of discovering new places can still feel exciting, even comforting. But many older adults don't realize that traveling after 65 brings risks and difficulties that often go unnoticed until something goes wrong. This isn't about giving up on adventure. It's about understanding what your body and mind can truly manage and what they may no longer quietly accept. In this video, we'll look at 5 key reasons why traveling in old age might no longer serve your best interest. From overlooked health issues to emotional strain, each point uncovers something important that many tend to miss. And if you're already having second thoughts about your upcoming trip, these insights might help explain why. Be sure to stay with us until the end. Not only will we highlight the concerns, but we'll also help you rethink how to find joy, peace, and fulfillment in this stage of life without having to pack a suitcase or board a plane. Let's begin. Number 1. Weakened immunity and exposure to unfamiliar pathogens. One of the most overlooked dangers of traveling in your senior years is how much more fragile the immune system becomes in new settings. While you might feel stable in your normal daily routine, entering an airport, hotel, or tourist bus exposes you to a mix of viruses, bacteria, and fungi your body hasn't encountered in years or ever. Unlike when you were younger, your immune response isn't as quick or strong. A simple cold can turn into bronchitis or even pneumonia. A minor stomach issue can land you in the emergency room. And once an infection sets in, the recovery process is often longer and more complex. Think about the experience of Edward, 81, who went on a cruise with his daughter to celebrate her birthday. By the 3rd day, he developed what seemed like a minor sore throat. But between the recycled air on the ship, the buffet meals, and the shared spaces, things quickly escalated. That mild sore throat became a chest infection, and he had to be airlifted to a hospital at the nearest port. What should have been a joyful memory became a difficult ordeal, and recovery took weeks. It's not just about airborne illness either. Shifts in altitude, disrupted sleep, and unfamiliar food or water can weaken your system even more. Your skin, digestion, and sinuses become more reactive now, and what once felt like a small exposure can have a much greater impact. And because symptoms often appear late, you may find yourself far from home without your regular doctor, without your normal routine, and without the energy to speak up for yourself. This doesn't mean you need to fear every trip or new place, but it does mean being honest about the fact that what feels minor to a younger person could be serious for you, especially if you're dealing with chronic health conditions or medications that already suppress your immune defenses. Staying home doesn't mean being isolated. It means you can have more control over your surroundings, your air quality, your meals, your rest, and your daily routine. And at a stage in life where your energy is limited, protecting your health should no longer be left to chance. Traveling was once about discovery, but sometimes the greatest discovery is recognizing what your body needs now and respecting that above everything else. Number 2. Long-distance travel increases the risk of blood clots and circulation problems. What many older adults don't realize until they go through it themselves is how risky extended periods of sitting can be, particularly during flights or long drives. When you're younger, you can cross your legs, sleep awkwardly in a cramped seat, and walk off with nothing more than a stiff back. But after the age of 70, your circulation doesn't function the same way. Blood flows more slowly, veins lose flexibility, and the danger of deep vein thrombosis, clots that can form in the legs and move to the lungs, rises significantly when you stay immobile for too long. This isn't just a hypothetical risk. It happens to people who thought they had prepared well. Take Raymond, 78, who took a 6-hour flight to attend his grandson's graduation ceremony. He made sure to walk the aisles a few times, drank plenty of water, and wore his compression socks. Yet, 2 days after landing, he experienced chest pain and trouble breathing. Doctors discovered a clot had formed during the flight and traveled to his lungs. Thankfully, he was treated in time, but what was meant to be a joyful visit turned into a medical emergency. The sad irony is that sitting still, doing nothing, can be more dangerous than moving around. And for many seniors, stiffness or mobility challenges make it even harder to get up and stretch when needed. Add dehydration, air pressure changes, and flight-related anxiety into the mix, and you have a perfect storm that can quietly but seriously harm your health. Even long road trips can pose the same threat. Hours in a car, with few breaks and little stretching, slow down your blood flow. In the same way, you might not notice anything at first, but signs can slowly appear. Swollen ankles, sore legs, or a tight feeling in your chest. And by the time you realize something is wrong, you might be far from your doctor, your medical history, and the comfort of home. These circulatory problems aren't something you can simply stretch your way out of. Once your body slows, it needs deliberate care to keep blood flowing safely and consistently. If you have a history of heart conditions, high blood pressure, or previous surgeries, the risk increases significantly. What may seem like a straightforward trip can turn into complications that impact your independence for weeks or even longer. Travel itself isn't the enemy, but ignoring the new limits your body sets is. And when your blood isn't moving properly, neither can you, at least not for very long. That's why before you plan your next trip, pause and think about the journey your blood must make while you sit still. Because sometimes staying grounded isn't a setback. It's a choice that protects your health and well-being. If you're still watching this video and finding these insights useful, please comment number 2 below so I know you're still with us. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I encourage you to subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss any of our future videos. Let's pause for a moment and consider what happens if you suddenly collapse in a hotel lobby or feel chest pain while riding a tour bus. Who will speak for you if you're unconscious? Will the local doctors have access to your medical background, your prescriptions, your known allergies, or your latest test results? If urgent decisions must be made, will they match the choices your own doctor would make? Most likely not. And it's not due to a lack of skill. It's because they don't know your story. Picture someone like Eleanor, age 83, who tripped on a cobblestone walkway during a European river cruise. She broke her hip. The closest hospital was more than an hour away, and when she arrived, the staff spoke limited English. Her insurance details weren't recognized, and her daughter back home couldn't connect with the doctors. What could have been a manageable injury back home became a drawn-out, confusing experience. The return flight was painful, and recovery was made more difficult by the stress and unfamiliarity of care in a foreign setting. Even in countries with good health care, delays can be long, paperwork confusing, and care protocols different from what you're used to. Yes, travel insurance might help cover expenses, but it won't replace your familiar nurse, your trusted physician, or the pharmacy that always catches mistakes. It won't provide the comfort of a care team who knows how your body tends to react, or the peace of recovering in your own bed with people who know your needs. Getting emergency care while traveling isn't just about whether it's available. It's about whether it suits you. And as you age, emergencies aren't always dramatic falls. They're often subtle changes, feeling lightheaded, low blood sugar, breathing problems, or mental fog. In unfamiliar surroundings, those signs are easier to miss. And by the time someone notices, the best window to act may have passed. So, ask yourself honestly, is it worth being 1,000 miles away when your body might need the people, routines, and healthcare systems that understand it best? Because no destination, no matter how lovely, is worth the risk of being medically unprepared and alone. If you're still watching and this video has resonated with you, comment number 4 below to let me know you're still here. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I suggest hitting that button and turning on notifications so you won't miss upcoming videos. Your support means a lot, and helps us continue producing helpful, meaningful content for you. Now let's continue. Number 5. Emotional fatigue and losing your sense of grounding. Travel is often portrayed as a pathway to joy, exploration, and freedom. But what rarely gets discussed, especially for those over 70, is the emotional wear and tear it can cause. Unfamiliar environments can overwhelm the mind, confuse your internal clock, and drain your emotional energy faster than you anticipate. For many older adults, there's a quiet but powerful craving for what's familiar. The routines, the spaces, the people that provide a sense of safety and rhythm. When those are removed, the result isn't always wonder or delight. Sometimes it's disorientation, a quiet loneliness, or a vague discomfort you can't put into words. Consider Leonard, 79, who finally took a long-awaited trip to visit a national park he had always dreamed of seeing. But by the third day, he felt strangely irritable. He couldn't get comfortable in the hotel bed. He missed his usual morning walk around the block, and he struggled to find food that sat well with him. When his daughter asked if he was having a good time, he gave a weak smile and nodded. But inside, he was counting the days until he could return home. It wasn't the landscape that drained him. It was the loss of routine, of comfort, of control, of being known. We often underestimate how deeply our surroundings affect our peace of mind. The corner chair where you sip your coffee, the radio station you always tune into, the familiar feel of your own bathroom light switch. These aren't just small habits. They are emotional anchors. Travel unsettles all of that. And when you have spent decades shaping a life that fits you perfectly, suddenly being in a foreign place, even briefly, can feel exhausting. Add to that the quiet pressure of trying to keep pace with younger companions or putting on a smile so your children won't worry. The emotional work of pretending you're fine can weigh heavier than your suitcase. And when you get back home, the recovery isn't just physical, it's emotional. It's the slow readjustment of your nervous system after being separated from what stabilizes you. This doesn't mean you've become rigid or closed to new experiences. It means you're wise enough to recognize that peace is valuable, that stability is powerful, and that you no longer need to chase after experiences to prove your life is full. In truth, the quiet beauty of a neighborhood stroll, a conversation with a friend, or a meal you've cooked 1,000 times can bring more joy than a whirlwind tour you'll barely remember in a week. Staying home doesn't mean you've stopped living. It means you've started listening to your body, to the quieter wisdom that knows the difference between adventure and anxiety. And that kind of wisdom deserves far more honor than any passport stamp. Final thoughts. If you've made it to the end of this video, it shows you're someone who values your health and peace of mind. And that alone puts you ahead of the curve. Travel can still be a beautiful thing, but after 70, the rules shift. What once felt like pure freedom can now carry hidden risks, not just for your body, but for your emotional stability, your medical safety, and your overall health. Today, we explored 5 important reasons why travel in later years deserves more caution than we often give it. We discussed how long trips can weaken the immune system, how circulation risks can turn dangerous, how travel can disrupt medication routines, the dangers of emergency care far from home, and the overlooked emotional cost of leaving the familiar behind. These aren't random concerns. They are truths rooted in real experiences, real lives, and the kind of wisdom that only time can teach. If anything we discussed today made you pause or feel understood, take a moment to reflect on what your own needs are at this point in your life. Aging isn't about giving up the ability to explore. It's about wisely choosing how and when to safeguard what truly matters. And sometimes that means saying no to movement so you can say yes to peace. You've earned the right to value comfort over chaos, familiarity over novelty, and stability over stress. You're not missing out by choosing to stay grounded. You're honoring the deep wisdom of a body and mind that know when enough is enough. Whether you decide to stay close to home or venture out once more, let it be on your terms, with full awareness, careful planning, and respect for your personal boundary. Thank you for being with us today. We'd love to hear your thoughts. Leave a comment below and share one thing you learned from today's video and how you plan to apply it in your own life. Your insights mean a lot to us, so please don't hesitate to share. Reading your comments gives us great motivation and encouragement. If you found this video helpful and enjoyable, please like, subscribe, and share it with others. Your support helps us continue creating valuable content to inform and inspire you. Thank you for watching, and we look forward to seeing you again in the next.